Welcome to Charmingly Toxic, where Prosecco meets psychology. I'm your host, Denise Capurso. Each week, my guests and I dive into the control, charm, and chaos unfolding across our favorite reality shows. We're not here to diagnose anyone, but we are here to side-eye the charm, the control, and all that unhinged emotional chaos. Cheers to my guests and all the listeners. Hey, Eleanor.
Hey, Denise.
Welcome back to Charmingly Toxic.
This is my favorite thing to do.
So I'm cheersing with Prosecco today as we talk about Love is Blind, episodes 1 through 6, season 10. I think that we can all agree that love is not blind.
It finally occurred to me this season.
I've seen some spoilers, but I won't say anything if you haven't seen any.
Okay, no, please. I'm not a spoiler kind of girl. So
Okay, good. So I sent you this flow chart this morning of all of the cast, who's with who. This is from, I got to think of the podcast, Poodle. I think he's Reality Gaze. I don't know. I got to look it up. But he made this flow chart. So good. Okay. So let's start. So I'm glad that ended in Cabo because this is where all the fun happens when they meet each other on vacation.
right.
So I think we should just go couple by couple and let's get like the boring one out of the way. Christine and Vic.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the couple that decided on day one that they're in love and they get engaged and
Very
they
boring.
did not go to Cabo. So what do you think
Right.
the real story is there? Why do you think they're not there?
So I looked it up because I don't like spoilers, but if it's being revealed in the show, I'll specifically say, don't spoil it, but tell me the answer to this question. And the response I got, I don't know how true it is, but it said that I guess Cabo, the arrangements in Cabo can only handle 6 couples. So I don't know if it's funding or like camera crews and like all of that stuff. But what they said was because they wanted to pursue all 7 relationships, that they sent the most non-controversial, i.e. boring couple to another resort, but on their own, which I think is a huge disservice to the show because, like, I don't want to do. And they didn't send camera crews to Malibu. So it's just their phone. If you ever notice the footage, it's just like their phone or selfie cameras. It's not like a crew. Because there's no interviews. There's no, like, I'm talking in the bathroom, like my diary or whatever. There's none of that stuff. So
Yeah, that was
I
a
think that
weird
was
move.
stupid. Yeah.
Well, there was speculation that, Netflix didn't have the budget, but you saying that the hotel couldn't accommodate, maybe. But then I heard some other rumors that maybe one of them didn't have a passport.
I thought that immediately when it was like 6 couples go to Cabo, 1 goes to, but I would think if to join the show, you probably would have to have a passport, like as just part of registering for the show, but they're from Ohio, so who knows?
Maybe they were like, it'll come in the last minute, and it just never did. So I don't know.
It doesn't matter because I swear I've seen every season in every English language, like the UK one, the Australian one. I've seen in this season, it dawned on me that I'm like, this is ridiculous.
It doesn't work.
It didn't, like before I was like, wow, it's kind of neat that it wouldn't have met otherwise. And this time I'm like, did they really get engaged in like 2 days? I mean, I know the timelines are screwed up because we don't know how many conversations they've had or.
I think they get engaged. They all get engaged on the last day, I think. But the way they
Which is
edit it,
6 days in
I
the
think
pause.
it's 10.
Okay.
I don't know, but still.
Well, I don't know. Then the editing is it's so like your mind is like, wait, like did they already talk to them? Like I wish they would just follow maybe one couple through. I guess they need the interactions between the couples, and so it's bizarre to your brain of like you've met this person for 3 days and now you want to spend the rest of your life with them. Like it just I know it's the premise of the show.
Yeah, but I think the pods are the worst part because what do you think? Like, are they showing up as their best selves or are they pretending to be someone they really want to be?
To go back to Annie from last season, who was just like, I just want to get married and I don't care who to. Right. And so that was kind of ringing through to me with some of these conversations, especially, and I know we're going to get to each of the girls, but the girl, Emma, Like, she just seems so bizarre, and I know that there's snippets of conversation, so I don't wanna be too judgy, but I'm like, you're saying the same things and expecting different compassion. It's kinda like when you share your story, like, to 10 different people, and it's just like, you cry every time you tell it, and you're just kinda like, at some point, you've gotta be like, "I don't wanna share this intimateness with each person."
I think,
I
yeah,
don't know.
I think she's getting a hard time, and I do think production pushes them to go deep, and she did have to tell the same story to every person if she was gonna go deep, and the audience grew
True.
sick of it because we've
That's
heard
true.
it, right? And we're like,
And maybe that's you're right. I didn't think of it that way. But yeah, because 'cause we're watching it, I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I know, I know."
yeah, like, we've heard it, but, like, she had to do it. So we'll get to her, but I wanna jump to another couple that didn't make it to the island, or couples, which was Tyler, Kaya, and Kevon.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely both had alpha female energy and were not messing around, but I think it's toxic on so many fronts. One of when the 2 girls found out that he was interested in both of them, it was almost like a competition between the 2 of, "I want to win this, and I wanna win it quick." And so they both went in pressuring him. Now, again, we don't know editing, like, did he draw it out till the last day? He was super wishy-washy, definitely not ready to get married at all. He would talk in circles.
You're not ready to get married. You're not even ready to be on the show. That was like 6 days of this, like, yo-yo. It just seemed like a waste.
Yeah, both women were like, "All right, this guy's a moron, we're not gonna settle for him."
I'm glad because
Yes.
they could have easily just been like, kinda like last season, some people were getting engaged just because they're like, "Ah, sure, I wanna
Yeah.
go to Cabo," or whatever.
I don't care that I'm your 2nd choice or 3rd choice, just put a ring on
Yes,
it and get me out of here, right? Get me to Cabo.
yes. And that's the part that's the total ick. And I think the viewers are like, at least me, and like, I'm knee deep into this franchise. I'm like, I'm getting the ick at this point. Like, I'm gonna still watch the train wreck, but like the hopes of, the like, oh, what if they really do? Like,
That's gone. Well, it looks like at the end of season 6, they do or episode 6, they do a preview, and it looks like Kaya is on it when they go back and meet each other, at the apartments, and I hope, Tyler is too, because I would like to see those 2, just have conversation and be like, "We were in, like, a mess together."
well, they usually meet up in a bar with people that weren't even in a couple. Like, they'll invite the whole
Right.
crew back. I didn't watch the coming up next because I don't like
Yeah, that's
previews.
what they show.
Okay.
So they show her and him, Kevon, but they didn't show Tyler. So hopefully Tyler is there too, because these women just deserve more screen time.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm glad that they were like, "This is crap. I'm not doing it. I'm out."
Yeah.
So, because you don't see that. Usually, you don't see that.
So yeah, so those 2, all those people, okay, they're not in Cabo. So let's move to the people who are in Cabo.
Okay. All right.
Amber and Jordan. So Amber is quirky, has a daughter, kind of spacey,
Got it. Got it.
and Jordan is the foodie, like loves to cook, loves to eat. What do you think?
Everybody in the show that references Amber says that she's so nice and genuine and a lovely person. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but that didn't come across to me. To me, it came across, I got the ick from her of, I don't know if it's her demeanor, her behavior of just like, yeah, I'm a mom and I'm a nurse and I can't put my finger on it. I just, she's not my vibe.
When I watched it the first time, I was like, "Ooh," but when I watched it the second
Okay.
time, I was like, "I think she's just awkward and really
Okay.
nervous." And
Well, that's
so
fair.
yeah, and then when they met, when I watched it the first time, I thought, "Oh god, she does not like him."
Me too.
But then
I
when I
thought
saw him
that
on the
too.
trip, I was like, "I think she really does like him."
Yeah. So that's the thing that gets me is the, like, up and down. I'm like, "Oh, no, she's in. Oh, no, she's weird. Oh, they're making out now." And then, like, they're making out with a CPAP mask on and, like,
They
all
had
this, like,
sex with it on.
yeah, that was it, that was it.
I was like,
When I'm just like, Okay, like, you do you, like, this is your pre-honeymoon, like, I get it." And that's what it was for, to explore the relationship further,
yeah.
and I'm happy for them if they're happy. I get a sense that Jordan is either she's gonna like get fed up with him just being a dude, right? Like he's a dude. Like
Right.
he's not manscaping and he's not,
She
you
shaved his
know,
back. I mean, gee, she's in this.
true. Cause she was like, this is love. And I was like, on your like second date or something. Like you're like so
I
that
think
kind of icked me out, but I'm happy for them if they like each other. But if they're pretending, there's a possibility that somebody's pretending in there, then like I'm not.
I think they're not gonna make it because I think he's gonna freak out about really the thought of a child and having to do that. He's not ready for
Yeah,
that.
and like I said, he's a dude. Like he's
Yeah.
got to be the guy that gets walked through each level of this, and to jump into a family unit, even though he says that sounds kind of cool.
Sure.
I'm like, it's got to be a little bit more than cool for you,
Yeah.
and which is what we saw last season with the introduction of a child, and that did not go well.
I mean, I don't know why Netflix did this again because it's not healthy for the kid. Like, hopefully, these two maybe break up before he meets the kid, unlike last season. I
Right.
mean, that was terrible.
Right. And we didn't, fortunately, weren't exposed to that, meaning the child wasn't exposed, but
Yeah.
to the TV part at least, um, the recording and all that. But I don't, it's not, those two are not my jam. Like, it's kind of funny because he's a dude, and I'm sure when they're in an apartment on a Monday night and he's have worked a 12-hour day and, wants to eat pizza, and she's like, la, 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 let's go take, so and so to, horse
Yeah,
riding lessons, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, no, I'm good." I don't know.
exactly.
I'm foreshadowing, but,
I
like,
agree
you
100%.
don't go from being a dude to being a father, like, in a day. And when you do it, generally, man, if he's not mentally there, like, grasping it, I think he just sees a hot chick, and he's like, "Okay, I'll do this
Exactly.
for
He's
now."
like obsessed with how hot she is. Like, physically, she's out of his league.
True.
So,
True, but if she like, and the part that I do like is if she's like, I'm in love with all parts of him. I love the way he looks and the way he acts and the way he treats me. And like, that's what I hope is there.
yeah.
I'm not so sure yet. I haven't seen enough of it
Well, hopefully, they have a wonderful vacation and it just goes to shit after that.
before the kid gets involved.
Right. Okay, so let's go to Emma. Emma
Okay.
and Mike. So Emma, I gotta go back to the flow chart, had a few
Yep.
number ones, or she had 3 people, right? That she was like, "You're my person, you're my person." So I think it
Yes. And
was
when she got left by her number one, which I believe is who Bree is with, is that Connor? I know she's
Chris.
with Mike now. I think Connor was number one.
No, I think Chris was number 1, then Connor was number 2, then Mike is number 3.
Mike's number three. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think Mike seems like a really nice guy. Once we got past the whole trauma, I think she seems pretty cool, easygoing. I just think I don't think they're gonna work.
I think it's a little convenient that third place became her number one, and she's like, "Well, I still have one left, so I'll just go through with that one." Like, it seems that way, but I don't know,
Yeah.
editing, right?
But even on the trip, she says to him, like, you were, it was always you. Well, no, it wasn't always you.
Right, and he's gonna watch this back. And then when she saw somebody at the pool, wasn't she, like, all oogly googly eyes over,
Yeah, that
was it
was
Chris?
Connor.
Connor. And so when I mean, it's that's why they do it, right? Like they put them all and they give them all these drinks, and then they're like, I was in love with you yesterday,
Mhm.
and we're gonna talk about the other relationships that are
Yes.
doing that right now. But to me, you shouldn't be just the premise of the show. You shouldn't be engaged to somebody that you're committing to, and then like, but I was in love with him yesterday, so I'm not allowed to look over there. Like, it's just a recipe for disaster, and it's not, like, emotional. Like, you can probably come up with some really great clinical words of, like, that's not a responsible way to approach a relationship or begin a marriage.
I mean, I think it would be a little bit more fun if they said at the pods, we're not getting engaged, but at this point, I'm committed to you. Let's see what happens when we all see each other.
I think that's the best. I mean, it's not gonna be as good of a show, But I think that's the most morally responsible attitude for this.
I think it would still be a really fun show because people are still going to get their feelings hurt. I think it'll just give them permission to be a little bit messier
Yeah.
because we see with, when Emma's talking to Connor after, because Connor is like butthurt that Bree is talking to Chris,
Yes.
that they're like, maybe there is something here. It shouldn't be so taboo. It's like, ooh, you're already engaged. You shouldn't talk to him. Like, yeah, let them talk. Like, that's juicy. We want that.
True. But it takes the element of the engagement. I don't know why they have to be engaged in 6 days. Like, to your point, like, we don't necessarily need it. It just I mean, the wedding dress shopping and the meeting the parents and, like, all of that stuff may or may not happen if you're not engaged. You might just be dating somebody, so maybe that just takes away
Yeah,
an
have them
element,
live
but
together. Don't have them engaged, have them go on the trip, live together, and then see who gets engaged at the end of that.
yeah, and to go back to your original question, I don't think it's gonna work with Emma unless she has a change of heart about having children,
That's a
which
deal breaker.
which is her like, that's her choice, and he's just like, "Well, I hope she changes her mind." And eventually they might get there as a couple, right? Like, that might be a thing, but to start off with those 2 opposing views and just hoping for the best doesn't generally or
Yeah,
you could be 2 years into a marriage and it falls apart because he's just still holding out, and she's just like, "Oh, I've made my mind up, it's a no." Like, what do you do then?
I mean, I can absolutely see her point of, "Hey, I don't know my genetics. I don't know what I'm gonna pass on to my kids." And then the trauma of adoption itself, like, she's adopted, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to put sometimes being adopted is more traumatic for people than beneficial, and so there's so much there. I totally understand why she is like, I'm leaning towards no. And he's like, I'm going to convince her in the next 4 weeks to have kids.
Like, I'm gonna fix her. Well, the thing is you can't have kids in 4 weeks, so it can be like a 5-year plan, and then, a year in 2, 3 into it, and she's just like, the answer is no, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll marry her without that question or that promise.
I definitely think
I
he
don't
will
think he
not.
should, but
No, no.
but I don't think either side is wrong, but I just don't think you're a match, or you continue to date to develop this,
Hmm.
but they're just doomed.
I don't like on Facebook too how people were kind of saying like, her arm surgeries, she's not over that. I mean, she proudly walks around
She does.
and I think
I
that she
thought
is.
that. Yeah, I mean, she's wearing tank tops and she is not at all like, even when she walked out in a beautiful gown, she wasn't like,
No,
like nothing at all, and I was super proud of her for that, of like, yeah, it was a trauma, you got through it, and it seems like you're like, "This is me. I'm
this
not
is
even gonna
me.
hide it with a sweater or a whatever," right?
Yeah.
A cover up at the pool, and so, like, I'm like I didn't look at a lot of online stuff. I get worried that I'm gonna get spoilers, so I don't look at a lot of stuff until I've watched everything that's out, and then I'm like, "Okay, I'll allow myself to look on Facebook." So she's getting a lot of heat.
Well, yeah. I mean, people just don't like her because she's not processed her trauma. But also, here's the other thing. If the premise is love is blind, are the producers saying to her, you got to tell this guy about your arm? You got to tell these men.
You think? Because they're not supposed to talk about what they look like, period.
Right. Like they're not supposed to give any indication of race or anything.
Right, and I was thinking just to her as an example because it's a little bit different of the stereotype of the girl. There could be somebody in there. There was one girl that was partially blind,
Hmm.
but she could still see, so it really wasn't that big of a disability if we're putting these in like order of shock to a mate. But like, what if somebody was in a wheelchair? Or I mean, race is one thing, but disabilities. So yeah,
I kind of think it might have been
I don't
producer
know.
driven. Like, you got to tell.
And she's a pretty girl, so, like, I think it's okay, but I certainly
She's
don't think
gorgeous.
anybody would have said, like, "No," based on her appearance, but
Yeah.
it was a big deal to her, and seems like she's over it, like, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not her
Well,
therapist, so
I mean, she seems at the pool when she's talking to Connor. Yes, Connor, they seem to kind of get along a little bit, like they're both messy and their fiancés are complaining that they're messy.
Yeah.
And he kinda throws out a line like, "Hey, like, I'm here." Like, he's kind of saying, "If it's not working out over
Yeah.
there, I'm here. Don't don't forget about me."
Well, I got a little bit of a ick in that moment, only not because they did that, but because I was like, that's not cool when you're both engaged to somebody else. Like, that's the part where I'm like,
See,
these
this is
conversations should happen, but they're foreboding because, like, it's not appropriate.
yeah, but they should be having them, and we wanna see it. We
Yeah.
wanna see the messiness of it, and it's almost like they
Yeah.
feel like they're morally, like, committing a sin or something by, like, hey,
Yeah.
checking the other person out.
And I do agree, if both of you are engaged, you shouldn't be having those conversations with other people. But on this timeline, that the rules of like relationships don't or yeah, they're just like not
Okay, so
not real.
then
So,
what do you
all right.
think about Bree and Connor?
Kind of over Brie. I don't know if she's just too much for me, but and then how many times did they flip to somebody going, "She won't shut up." Like
Yeah,
more
she's
than
a big
one.
talker.
Yeah,
She
more
doesn't shut the
than
fuck
like
up.
1 or 2 people, even the girls, I think, and, like, I was even getting that, and I'm like, "I'm not even around this girl," and she's just to me, she's that kind of personality of, like, she has a comment about everything, she has a information about everything, and she's gonna be heard because 'cause she's got that scratchy voice that, like, "I'm just gonna talk louder than everybody else, and then people will shut up so they can hear me."
I think once she got to Mexico, she thought Connor is too boring.
Interesting. Who do you think she's interested
She
in?
thinks Chris is more high energy. I think Connor is very low energy and she's a high energy person. And Chris is like the one that's like, I work out every day and do a cold plunge and blah, blah, blah. And
Is she the one that was like, "Don't expect me to run with you"? Oh, no, that was somebody else.
that was who Chris is with. But when Brie got to Cabo and she saw him physically and then was like, yeah, he is a high energy guy and Connor is pretty much low energy. She was like, "Oh god, I think I picked the wrong person and now I'm gonna
Oh, they're
go."
not gonna work. They're not gonna work. You know what confused me? Well, first of all, like, a lot of the dudes look the same with those goatees, half goatees, so it took me a long time to straighten this all out because she was having a conversation, it must have been with Chris when he was like, "I found my number 1 and it's not you," and she was like, "Oh, well, who is it?" And he said, "Jessica." And she was like, "Oh, she's wonderful. I'm so happy for you." And to me, that was just like a weird moment of like, I'm like, wait, he's dating Jess. Like, I wish I
Yeah.
had your flow chart that is open on my screen right now at that time because I was like, wait, you look exactly like Connor. Chris and Connor like look not the same side by side. So there was a lot of confusion for me.
I did not like the way she had that conversation with Chris at the pool, kind of feeling him out. It was so like, "You and Jessica look great together. Do you think me and Connor are a match?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I do." And she's like, "Really?"
Yeah, that that gave me the ick because I was just like, you're looking for validation from somebody that you like, and you actually don't have faith in your own relationship. That's what that says.
I was like, "Could you just be more honest and more direct?" Since she's saying, "I need closure. I need closure. I need a part 2. I need to hear more."
What is the part two? She kept saying that, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What's a part two?
When she got there to the island, I think she was expecting Chris, since they had spent a lot of time together in the pods, a lot of time, quote unquote, that he would be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to meet you. We known so much about each other. Look at, we really connected."
Because she was just like, why is everybody ignoring our relationships? Yeah, she got super frantic.
Yeah. And so she was like, why? I told him a lot about myself. Why didn't he act like I was a nobody or just like
Yeah,
another contestant on the game? And that really bothered her, which I get, right? I get that. But I don't like the way that it's almost like she's trying to make Connor feel bad, when she's like, well, I need a part 2 with Chris. Now I need a part 3. You're just going to have to be patient with me because I might not choose you. But she's doing it in this roundabout, yucky way.
yeah. Yeah, and it's tough because us as the viewer, we want the juicy overlap and the kind of fighting and the drama. But the way that it's set up is just she's kind of looking around going, "Why isn't everybody else feeling like the way that I'm feeling? Like this is weird." And
Hmm.
she said that multiple times to multiple people, and I feel like everybody's like, "I don't know, read the room." Like, we picked. That's what this game is, and it
Right.
sucks
And
that you don't like the way it's unfolding, but you're kind of disrupting it all now. I don't know. And maybe
or
that's on
production
purpose.
might be there saying, hey, you got to
Yep.
stay with who you picked. You got to like really try, really, really try before you start like sending signals
Like
on
last
day
season
one.
with Edmund, I was like, "She's gotta really try,
Hmm.
really try." We need to find out if they have incentives to get to the altar. Remember, we
That's
talked
right.
about that
Yeah.
the last time, like, if you get a cash prize or something because, yeah, we already knows some of the majority of these are just not compatible.
Maybe the cash prize should be if you get to the altar with anyone on the cast,
You're allowed to switch.
we'll reward you.
Yeah, I did not like how Bree the frantic nature, maybe that's just her, but for her going, "Really? You think I belong with that guy that I'm engaged
Hmm.
to?" That for me, I was done with her. I'm
Yeah.
done with her.
Not looking good for those two for sure. So that leads us to
There's so many. Gosh.
Ashley. Let's save Ashley and Alex for the end. Devontae and
Okay.
Brittany. Let's go to Devontae and Brittany.
I knew that from the start. When she walked through and she looked at him, she was like,
Yeah, but
"Oh,
she's trying to give him a chance.
she is." And
He's not
he's
into
not
her.
ready. He's not into her. He's not a physical he's a dude with she's very well endowed in her chest, and he just doesn't even see her. Like there's something I don't get it.
Okay, so part of it is, do you think his head is messed up because he lost his grandma and he couldn't go back?
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt on that.
The other thing I was thinking is she's very extroverted and talkative and bubbly, and he is an introvert.
Mhm.
And he's like maybe saying like, "You're too much for me, and I don't know how to tell you that you are."
Yeah, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. I just want to be alone. Like when she was like, I was laying in bed and he's just like, I want to get up and do stuff. I'm like, on your first day together, like to me, that's a red flag of like, you just don't want to be with her. And like, you just don't. And she's starting to figure it out. Like she was given it, she was like, okay, well, maybe he just doesn't like sunrises or what he doesn't like cuddling, and after a while you're like, okay, it's me. It's me.
Yeah. But I think also when they were having that conversation at the end of episode 6, I think he was gaslighting her because she's like, "You don't touch me. You ignore me. You don't want to talk to me." He's like, "What are you talking about? I don't." Like, he could have just said, "Hey, yeah, I noticed that," or "I'm much more introverted," or much more. But he was like, "No, I
But
didn't."
you have to have social or emotional maturity to recognize that in yourself, not be
Yeah.
defensive and communicate, which none of I mean, they're all in their early 20s, they're not there, and that's why they're on the show.
Yeah. Is she older than him? I can't remember.
Can't remember I told you there's just so many people this time, I'm,
No,
like,
that
waiting for
is Chris and Jessica. So Jessica's the doctor, and I think she's older than him. She's 38.
yeah, yeah,
And she does
she's a
not
little
wanna
bit
have
older.
kids, and he's saying he doesn't wanna have kids either.
Okay, I don't know that I gl glossed or that I zoned in on that one.
So he is the one that's like, "I get up every morning and I work out and cold plunge and eat
When
healthy," and
she's like, "Don't expect me to run,"
she's like, "I don't
and he's
exercise and I don't eat healthy."
Yeah, and he's just like, "Well, by the 3rd or 4th mile, it's not so bad." She's like, I'm not even getting through the first." So
I'm with
I was
her
like,
on
"Good
that.
girl." I'm with her on I'm like, for me, it's not for me."
I think in the beginning, their spark is there. They're definitely attracted to each other. They seem to have a lot in common.
Wait, do we move on to Jessica?
Yeah,
Okay.
Jessica and Chris. And but then I can kinda see it a little bit falling apart in Mexico. I think he's starting to think she's kind of annoying. Did you pick up on that?
What conversation
It was
or
at the dinner. There was the 2 of them, they were sitting at dinner, and he says, like, inadvertently, like, "Well, 'cause you're older," and she kinda gets a little, like, passive aggressive, and I think it is bothering him a little bit that she is older and that she's like a sloth. I think he's like, I want someone that's active and is going to do fun things with
Yeah.
me.
And I think we saw, I mean, we've seen these lines before of like last season, the truck driver and the anesthetician or whatever, and she's just, or nurse, and she was just like, "Oh, no, I don't want to do stuff." And he's just like, "You're going to have to work." And she's like, that's not, I work to do my nails or whatever it was.
Right.
But I'm drawing the parallel of like, if you don't have certain things in common, I mean, sure, opposites attract, but you have to have the certain things that that light you up. The other
Yeah.
person has to like be involved. And I mean, dating somebody for 6 days and now all of a sudden you're betrothing. It's like you're willing to overlook stuff.
She was heavy on the PDA at the pool and kind of like, he's so hot, all over him, kissing him constantly. I think he was kind of like, okay.
Ugh, barf.
But I do think even though he was rejecting kind of Brie at the pool, he was kind of like, yeah, I think she's more my vibe. Like she is high energy. She does want to do stuff and hang out. And her
Interesting.
giving him that hint, I think he starts thinking, yeah, maybe I also chose wrong.
Yeah. And I wish that for them if they're a better fit.
Yes, then let them hook up and hang
Right.
out because you didn't
Yeah.
see the previews. Do you want me to tell you what happens in the previews?
Sure. If it's a preview, then it's not a spoiler.
So apparently It it looks like when they get back to the apartments, Chris is texting Bree a lot, and he's not texting Jessica. And so they show a scene where Jessica's like, "I don't expect you to text me like all day, but I want to hear from you." And he's like, "I don't really text anyone." Then they show that he's texting the other one, and she shows it to Connor. She's like, "Look, he's texting me all the time." And then we see a clip of Connor throwing her out of the apartment, throwing Bree out.
Yeah, Connor to me seems like he was the one at the pool who had the hat when he was
Yep.
talking, and he was just like, "I don't," he's
I'm
like,
not playing this
"Whatever."
game.
Yeah. And then he turned to Emma,
Mhm.
who, yeah, like I think, and it's so funny because these interactions and these sort of relationship development pieces has nothing to do with looks, right? It's just about the social experiment of being around people. And you're in this isolated pod where you have to choose, and you're like, okay, I get, okay. And
Yeah.
then it is nothing to do with it. So when it's all, is love blind? I'm like, that's not the question.
No, it's like,
All of
how
these
does someone
people are,
act?
right. All of these people are on a level of attractiveness that they got on the show. So we can get past them being like, these not lookers. They're all lookers, right? And for somebody, like,
Right, but it's like, how do they act in a social setting? How do they act in a group? How do they act when they're drunk? Like, all of these things are
exactly.
really important.
Yeah, the drunk part is big because that's when we see things start falling apart of like, how do you act? If you can't handle yourself or you turn into a complete crazy person, like that's very off-putting for somebody who doesn't drink a lot or whatever.
Right,
And I think that's an important, I mean, there's so many important pieces of a relationship that you get engaged to somebody that you do not get to explore with 6 hours of conversation or whatever. And it's just so fascinating that they're like the narrative is like, you should know that you should be married, right? You should know. And I'm like, how?
and a lot of times the women carry that out onto the vacation. They're like, "You chose me. You cannot change your mind. You knew then. You knew in the pods," and they get really attached
And
to
then
that.
we see people that are like, well, you were my number three. Like,
So let's move on to the worst of the worst, Ashley and
okay.
Alex.
Oh, the worst. Why do you say that? What is your
Alex is
take?
the worst of the worst.
What? Why?
He's so gross in the pods. I mean, first, all about his athletic career that died. Clearly he loves to talk about himself. But I think he gets the sense in the pods that Ashley is a very sexual person. And he's like, I'm down for that. And then he's using that
Gross.
word dangerous in the pods, like, you're dangerous.
Yeah.
He's kind of trying to be seductive and she's into it. So he's like, cool, we're going to have great sex.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only reason he chose her.
Well, because you're right about but then there was this exchange when she was like, what do you mean? What am I doing? And he's like, "You know what you're doing." And she's like, "No, I don't." And
Yeah,
then, like, it was, like, 10 minutes of that, and I'm like, Okay, this is
he's
making
into
me."
that, and she's
And then
into
she's
that.
like, "I'm just kidding, I know what I'm doing."
Mhm.
And it was just bizarre to watch, I guess, but, like, I
Yeah.
thought they were a cute couple. Like, they're not my cup of tea, but, like, I think if that's what they're into, I don't know if that's gonna be strong enough to carry the whole relationship,
No.
especially if they're like that with other people, then, like, then it's off. I don't know.
I mean, they seemed happy when they saw each other, they're definitely, like, lusting after each other,
They're very cute couple, like, physically they match, I think, if that's what they're into.
but then they get to Cabo, and he sees Brittany, and he's like, "I want Brittany. My eyes are now set on Brittany. She's my type, she's hot."
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Because she's the whole package, but she's a tiny package.
Yeah,
He's the tall
but he's like,
package.
"She meets the mark on every level. This is the type I usually
That's
go
right,
for."
because he's like, "I usually go for, like, a dark." I forget how he said it, but he was just like, the intrigue and the curves and like, all of the things that
Right.
what's her name isn't.
So it's even, like, the first day after they get there, and he's kind of talking, I don't know how to, like, in a perverse way about he and Ashley having sex the night before. Like, almost I
What
I felt like it was almost, like, degrading to
like,
Ashley, and I think
sharing too much intimacy?
yeah, about, like, all the positions she likes and, like,
Oh,
and I was like, "This is like a one and done." He's like, "I conquered her. I had all the sex I
yeah.
want with her. On to the next, and she's not my type anyway." So, I think as soon as he sees Brittany, he starts to disengage, and Ashley feels it immediately.
So you think that he's gonna just dump her
Yeah.
well, Devontae and Brittany are not lasting another 5 minutes in the show, I'm sure.
So he goes over to Brittany and, like, shoots his shot pretty much like, "Hey, my match is not who I'm usually attracted to, this is not my type. What about you? Are you attracted to yours?" And she's like, "Not really."
But that's the whole point of the
Right.
show.
It is the point of the show, and we should let them hook up without feeling bad about it, but also there's something about him I don't like. I don't feel like he's respectful to women.
Yeah, like that player vibe of the conquer and then play and then yeah, that's
I hope
it.
Brittany is smart enough to see that, but he's trying to, like, win her over in that moment of like, "Hey, you wanna, like, ditch your partner and, like, hang out with me the rest of the trip," was pretty much the vibe.
I guess that went over my head. Maybe I was distracted, but
He was on her. So then Ashley's watching this whole thing, and then Ashley and he go back to the hotel room, and
in the bathroom and she's like, "Wait, what do you mean? Why were you doing that?" And she to her defense, because I would have been like, What?" And she was just like, "No, it doesn't really strike me as being appropriate." Like she was just totally level-headed about it and mixing alcohol in. I was very impressed with her behavior.
I mean, she clocked it and nailed it and was like, "Hey, were you flirty with anybody? What was going on?" And
Yep.
he's totally, again, gaslighting her, like,
Yep.
"No, what are you talking about?" I mean, it must have been clear as day. So then he's trying to almost, like, create space where he can easily get out of this with her. 'Cause she's like, "Well, are you looking forward to going back?" And he's like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Like, I live a lot of places. We're not gonna live there very long anyway. We'll move somewhere else." And, she's like, "Okay, like, are you wanting to be with like, are you even into me?" And he doesn't
Yeah.
even answer her. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I got that vibe, not the intimate, not the last part, but like I see where you're going and I'm like, "Oh, I see that." Yeah. Because he was so flippant and not
Mhm.
like a newly engaged couple, like upper butt. He was just like, "Yeah, we'll see. We'll see for at the altar in 4 weeks." Like,
Yeah, she was like, "It doesn't even feel like you're into me, are you?" And he's like, "Don't make problems that don't exist." I mean, what kinda answer is that?
that's a
Like,
gaslight. Yeah.
that was terrible.
Because she's picking up with her intuition and he's telling her to not to pay attention. That
I'm trying to
sucks.
read my notes, but he says, "Oh, he is explaining himself overly," and he's like, "I'm happy to run it back with you." And she's like, "Yeah, play the tapes, like, run it back." It seems like he's used to explaining himself to women a lot about his flirty behavior and kind of, like, downplaying it. Like, this is
This is who I am.
yeah.
It's a personality versus a behavior, and that's the cheap shot.
Mhm. I feel bad.
I'm so glad you're a therapist. Denise, you make me see things that I'm like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, and he said something like, oh, he said to, Brittany when they were talking, he goes, I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna end up settling for less than I'm attracted to physically."
Barf.
I mean, the guy's just gross. The other gross guy we didn't touch on because he didn't make it was that Steven guy that was with Emma in the pods, and he was talking about, like, when he lost his virginity and his first kiss and, like, The
Oh, that
Notebook.
was so weird.
Yeah.
And he was like, when was your first kiss? And she's like, I don't know, some guy in high school. And he's like, what? Tell me
Yeah,
everything. It was bizarre.
and then he's like, "Mine was fantastic." Like, "Sorry, yours was traumatic, but."
But there was no story. Then I was waiting for the like, and then she died in a car accident and it ruined my, like something. But the story was like, yeah,
It was just like a
our
scene in a
lips
movie.
touched. And I'm like, and
Also, did you see the stuff come up on Facebook that he is, like, a sexual predator? Like,
no.
he has some history of sexually assaulting women.
Why is this stuff not vetted? What are we doing?
Exactly,
What are we talking about?
exactly.
That reminded me because I'm not sure if it was with him, if Emma shared it with him, or if it was one of the other 5 that were her top 5. But the letters of her mom wrote her letters about herself or something, and she was like sharing them with the guy. And I'm just
It
like,
was their
this,
Christmas letter that the
yeah,
family sent
it
out
should,
every year.
I just seem like save that for your first, like, this isn't the moment for that. Like,
Not on
and she's
Netflix.
like, you are a beautiful 16-year-old, but, and I'm just like, and she's
That
like,
was super
and I'm
weird.
like, that is too intimate for you to share with this stranger that you didn't even pick.
Yeah. I don't know why they make them buy each other gifts or give each other gifts.
That is
That part is
bizarre.
I didn't like that at all.
And the watch for
Yeah.
Kavan, and they're not even together. Like, I'm like, did
I'd
you
be like,
buy that? Or don't tell me that your grandfather's watch or whatever
"Yes,
significant the watch was. It was bizarre.
hopefully production bought that," because I'd be like, "I want the watch back."
Why would you give it to a stranger before you even know if you're going to
I think the production is like, "You
like
have to
ramp
do
it
it."
up? Ramp it
So,
up.
in all seriousness, who has the best shot? Who has the best shot let me reframe it. Who has the best shot of getting married on the show?
Oh, okay. Well, probably Vic, the boring couple, but we don't know enough about them. They got married in 5 minutes. I mean, they got engaged in 5 minutes, and then we're not even seeing them interact with other people yet.
Well, the
So,
previews touch on it a little bit, and she questions like, "Is your family gonna be okay with the mother of your children being white?" So that might be one thing that they
struggle to figure out.
struggle with.
And then I think is his name Jordan? Yeah, I think Jordan, and I think they might get to the altar.
Mhm.
And I think the question mark over them is going to be the kid situation. If they've met the child or if it's a deal breaker before they meet the child, like I think that's going to play into it, good or bad. But I think they have a shot.
I think Emma and Mike might get married on the show, but then not last. I don't see any of them lasting. But yeah, Christine and Vic married on the show. Emma and Mike maybe, and Jordan and
Yeah,
Amber
I don't
maybe.
think Bree's got it in her. I don't know what's going on with Brittany. Who's she going to, and then that's going to fall apart when she hooks up with Alex. So that's going to fall apart. And the doctor, they maybe I think we need more data on why they fell in love because it's just sort of at this point, I'll pick you. You seem like a nice guy.
We definitely have to recap after the apartment segment because that really the vacation and the apartments are the best part.
Yep.
Even the
Because I don't even
wedding,
know
I
who
don't care
anybody
about.
is.
Yeah.
I
The
don't even
wedding.
know who their names yet. Like I'm looking at this chart like, oh yeah. But yeah, we'll meet after the next chunk.
So are they only releasing them one at a time now, or is it going to be in a
Let
handful?
me look. I think it's usually chunks. I think it's going to be apartment living up until the weddings and then the weddings and then the reunion. So there'll probably be 3 more chunks, but let me look it up.
So we could do the apartment chunk and then the reunion.
Well, the wedding, yeah, or the weddings. We can wait until the weddings and well, whatever you want
Yeah,
to do.
weddings and reunion maybe
I
you
can't
won't.
log in because I have too many things logged in, and it'll
Okay.
say,
Well, we'll
yeah, you'll
reconvene.
figure it out.
All
But
right. Well, until next time, cheers, and I'll see you soon.
yeah,
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Charmingly Toxic. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow reality TV junkies. You can connect with me on Instagram at Charmingly Toxic and join the conversation in the Charmingly Toxic Facebook group. This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. While I am a licensed therapist, I'm not diagnosing anyone here. Expect real talk, sarcasm, and a few clinical insights woven in along the way. If you're seeking support for a toxic relationship, please reach out to a licensed therapist or visit my website, dccounseling.org.
Running. There's no, I got nothing else to lose. Unstoppable.